I'm here with,
Hi, I'm Kim.
and we are on episode, what, six right now?
Yes.
Wow,
And
of all things.
spiritual.
So, welcome to our show, and today's topic, we're talking about gratitude. And gratitude is, I think, one of our favorite topics. Every
Yeah.
topic, I think we're talking every week. It's like our favorite topic, you know?
Yeah.
And I really, I am grateful, and I just want to share with you, about my week that happened this past week. And I'll say I had a pretty good week. It was an eventful week, but then on Friday I had a couple of lessons and that I had to learn, and it was like a couple unfortunate circumstances that occurred. But the thing is that I didn't get into the reactive state about the negative. I decided to take the gratitude state in terms of being grateful, number one, to have a job that I have,
Right.
right, and also
Right.
that underneath whatever situation it was, there was actually a lesson that I learned.
Right. And sometimes when we get to this, I want to say attitude of always like in the negative or always complaining, sometimes it can be very difficult to really be in gratitude and see what the lesson is when it's not a good feeling or something bad happens to us. So there are times where it's really sometimes can be challenging to stay in gratitude even when things get turbulent for us. And that's probably what Mark thought this week was you had a turbulent week.
It was turbulent, and it was so. We also so like for me, when something doesn't go my way, we become reactive and let the negativity start settling in.
Right.
But gratitude is actually the cure, because if you start becoming grateful, you start getting those things that you want in your life.
Right, and also talks about being positive. Gratitude and positivity go hand in hand. So it's really training yourself to see every situation as something to be grateful for, even if it's something negative, because those negative times in our lives are teaching us lessons so that, one, we can avoid it in the future or make a different choice to bring us closer, again, to your angels, to source, to your highest and best good for your life and at the moment.
So everything comes from source, right?
Everything.
So, if we have a desire for something that we want, and we know what we want, and we're grateful for the things that we have, the source wants to get more. But if we start becoming frustrated about things that we get, with everything comes from source, what is source going to start doing?
It's going to create the negative things that happen in your life. We talk about how powerful your words are and how powerful your thoughts are. And so the more that you're in gratitude, the more that's going to be brought to you. The more you're in lack, the more lack is going to be brought to you. The more you're in negativity, that's the more you're going to get. So it's really important to watch your words, watch your thoughts, and really just be grateful every single day for whatever moment comes to you, whether it's positive or negative.
Right, because everything, like I said before, everything does come from source. So there is no good or bad. When you actually come down to the underlying factor, like if if an event happens that is counter to what you actually desire, that makes you feel good, and if you pause before reacting and just say, I'm grateful for this experience, and you learn from that experience, you can take it in, right?
Right. And two, as you go through your personal spiritual journey, you're going to be tested a lot. And so you're going to be tested from the universe to make sure that you are staying in the gratitude, to make sure you are learning your lessons. And sometimes when you think you've learned your lesson and you're really practicing gratitude and you're really on this path, they're going to really test you with something negative or something that happens to you where it's really going to test your faith and to see how grateful and how spiritual you really are and how you'll come out of it.
So gratitude is like, to me, it's like a fuel for manifestation. So the more gratitude you have, the more you're going to get. And
Right.
the more gratitude you show and appreciation that you have, the more that you're going to receive. The only problem is that after a while, if we keep on getting things and there's no work for it, we lose
Right.
what? Appreciation.
Right.
And then we start to lack the appreciation we have, we lose that gratitude, start becoming entitled. And then if you're on the other side, if you're the person that's giving, and the person you're giving to loses that appreciation, loses that gratitude, and starts becoming entitled, and they're not working for it, how are you going to feel?
Yeah, again, you're always being tested. Even when things don't go according to your plan, doesn't mean that it's not for your highest and best good. And that's when we really have to get to the practice of practicing gratitude, especially when things don't go right for us.
So really just appreciate the things you have. Appreciate everything you have in your life. And take it to another level is appreciate all the things that are going wrong in your life and all the things that are going right in your life. But if you can appreciate the things that are going wrong in your life, there you'll get more blessings and more goodness.
And really the miracles, the gratitude's where the miracles are. So again, even if you don't think things are going great for you, like, this week has been really, really hot. It's been really hot outside, and I have a really older car. And so this week I've been practicing the gratitude of my air's working. I've been really thanking my car and thanking it for keeping going because I have air, it's really old, and it's still keeping me safe. So I just practiced this week of really being in gratitude that I had this vehicle to get me around that's still running so efficiently at 13 years old.
Right. So you can having gratitude to actually have a car.
Right.
Because even if a car, you'd be walking in this heat, and it's here in South Florida. It's where it's hot in the summertime. If it's to have gratitude to have a car to get around because it's very hard to. It's hot to walk around and stuff, and then to ride your bike and everything like that. So there are options, but like having a car is something to be grateful for, right?
Yeah, and two, even it's really easy to have gratitude when things are going really well in your life. When everything you're getting is being brought to you, it's really easy to stay in that gratitude of it. It's when things are challenging, when things keep coming up and the lessons keep coming up, that's when it can be challenging staying in the gratitude of the lessons that you're learning. And you're always learning something, you're always evolving, you're always moving forward. And sometimes, when we're learning these lessons, it can be very painful at the time, but then when you come out of it, you can really appreciate that it was there for you and the gratitude of, wow, I learned something, I'm not going to go backwards, I'm going to move forward and take what I learned with me.
So if you're going to relate it to like something in real life, everybody's situation is different. So let's say that you've been working at a job for a long time or whatever, and the company goes through some tough times, and there you go, you got laid off from your job, and then your bills to pay, you have things to, and also you start going into negative. But the hard part actually to have the gratitude. I know it's hard to say you're being grateful for losing your job, but having just the fact that you had a job, to be grateful for that, and you worked someplace for a while and had gratitude for that, and there's things to be grateful for. But to go into negativity and then start having a sorrow, you start limiting yourself in terms of what the universe wants for you. Because yes, it's unfortunate you lost a job. I mean, it's very bad, unfortunate, and of course it's a terrible thing. And it's very hard to say, oh yeah, thank God, I'm very grateful. But you turn that around and had the gratitude that you actually had a job, you allow yourself to get more blessings from the universe because you're not like restricting those blessings that you get by putting limitations on it.
Right. And again, a lot of times when my clients come to me, a lot of times it's about relationships. And a lot of times it's, when am I getting this relationship? They hadn't really gone out the last one yet. And I always really talk to them about really, even if they've gone through horrible relationships and even if they've gone through horrible breakups, be grateful for those experiences because hopefully it's leading you to something bigger and better and that you don't go back to the type of person, that situation again, and really be grateful for those experiences. Because I know in my life I went through a lot of difficult relationships, a lot of dating, a lot of relationships, and I'm so grateful for all the lessons I learned and where it brought me, and also the things that didn't work out the way I thought I wanted them to.
Right.
So I'm so grateful for that because I'm in such a beautiful, loving, wonderful place with my husband that I'm so grateful that the things I thought I wanted didn't work out for me.
I'm also grateful for those people that were in your life.
Yeah.
Because they were put into your life for a reason, to show you something you needed to work on.
Right.
And that's why, those people put in your life. So the relationship may not have worked out, may have been a lot of pain, but you're grateful for it and you're able to move on.
Right.
But there's people that sit in that pain, that sorrow, something with them. But they didn't take the lesson out of what happened with that relationship.
Right.
And they become more negative. But just have the gratitude for that experience. You could actually grow and move on.
Yeah, and that's part of the spiritual growth, is really learning from all your experiences and really, being gentle with yourself when you think you haven't done something right or you think you've gotten into a bad relationship and, really just forgiving yourself for being in that place and bless it. Bless it with love for what it taught you so that you can move on effortlessly and gracefully moving forward. And so I really hope this week that people really, practice gratitude, even in the toughest times. When you're having these terrible thoughts or when you're complaining a lot, really stop and think and just be grateful for what's ever going on around you at that moment. So I want to challenge people this week to do that.
Right, so this week, like every morning when you get
Yeah.
up, this week, have the attitude of gratitude. You know, put on the attitude of gratitude. Today, I'm going to be grateful. Because the attitude of gratitude, actually, attitude of being grateful is gratitude. And if you start living that and just have that in your mindset, and if something happens, if someone is, you know, stops short in front of you, almost get into an accident, they're going very slow or whatever, just be grateful.
Right.
You know, that you're driving, you have a car to drive in, this almost happened.
Right.
But don't go into negativity, but always challenge yourself. I'm grateful for this. Be grateful for those people that get in your way.
Right. Because, and the gratitude really is thank you so much for protecting me from an accident or protecting me from a serious situation. So when you're late, when things are getting in the way, when there's a lot of traffic and you're being stopped from where you're supposed to be going, be grateful for that, because I promise you it's protecting you from something that could happen to you. And your angels and your guardian angels and God and everybody's around you protecting you, moving you forward, and just, you know, stop and be grateful for that instead of complaining about it, or instead of, you know, complaining about how hard your day was or you're going to be late. Just really just practice the gratitude of it's happening for a reason.
Right. So be aware, you know, be aware and then show gratitude. And show gratitude each moment that you can. And I'm telling you, your week will get better and better and better. Every day to start practicing and focusing more and more gratitude. And as difficulties come by, you'll be able to handle them much more gracefully with gratitude.
Right. And you will be tested. You know, you definitely will be tested as you go on this journey of growing spiritually or are really practicing the gratitude. You are going to be tested to see, you know, if you have learned the lessons. And, you know, no matter how spiritual you are or no matter how spiritual far you think you've come, you'll always be tested, even sometimes on the same things. So I really would, you know, really recommend this week that you really just, you know, just practice the gratitude and really just, you know, stay in the positivity of even when the negative things happen to you.
Right. So, you know, and another thing you could do is, like, right before you go to sleep, you know, just think about, and if you're journal what were you grateful for that day. Think about things to be grateful for, and then every single day just write down for a week. Like a little gratitude journal.
Yeah, and you know, today is the first day that we're going Facebook Live, so we just want to acknowledge the people that are coming and showing up on the feed. And so thank you, Sal, thank you, Audra, thank you, Stephanie, thank you, Tony, for tuning in. You know, we hope we get more views because we think, we just want to share the message of how Spirit has worked in our lives and how we can help other people who might be struggling with the same things that we have. So I really just want to thank everybody for, you know, tuning in live today for our first show live.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
I think it was great.
know?
So thanks everybody for tuning in and everything. And
so before I leave, because, you know, I'm so grateful that I really am grateful for my gifts. I'm grateful that I have the relationship with my angels that I have, and I love sharing it with the people around me. And so I am going to pull a card this week, because I always like to leave off on a positive note. And my favorite cards, and I say this every week, are the
old
Archangel.
favorite cards.
Well, these are my Archangel cards, and I just love what they do in our lives. And I think that Archangels are so loving, and they're just a direct message from Source and from God. So I just like leaving off on a good note. So it always makes me feel grateful that they've given me this ability to be able to channel their messages through me. So I'm just going to pull a card real quick. And today's card is talking about victory.
ooh, victory. Awesome.
Okay? So this tells me that this week you're going to be victorious in your week of practicing gratitude. And just know that when things are not going your way, it's because there's something better coming to you. And that, again, everything is happening in divine order, whether you realize it or not. So just say thank you, and just say thank you to the universe, no matter what the situation is, and trust that it's working out for your highest and best good.
And that's totally awesome. So, you know, everybody, we're going to finish off this week's episode. This has been totally great.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week. And
fun.
hopefully next Saturday we'll be on at the same time, but I'll send out a little note on Facebook to let you know that we're going to be coming on live soon. So thank you so much for tuning in.
And happy 4th.
Bye.